So I've known Leah Remini and her family for many years. I actually grew up with Leah and her mom and sisters when I was quite young. She always had a bit of a sense. I think it actually started when she was became an actress. When she got her first role, I was in her life at that point, and it became everything. She became the most important person in the room. She became the most. Well, she just had to be better than others at that point. And I think when she started to show her true colors, it was after that. She was very rude and extremely pompous and was very much about how come she wasn't getting the service that she deserved. And this person was doing everything they could possibly do to help her. I mean, it was, I think it was over a cup of coffee or something completely silly. And to see that in her, I mean, we were just in a conversation and then she turned to this other person and started giving them a whole horrible wrath of hell. I was kind of like, wow, that was rude. She's like, oh, she's always messing up my coffee and continued to complain about this person. I can understand to some degree that if you're expecting a certain quality and service that should be provided, to go out of your way to making someone feel less, and to honestly, this person almost walked away in tears. I think her true colors started to come out when she started to get some of the celebrity bug in her. And she wasn't, I think she had done one episode of Saved by the Bell, or, it was like something that she was on for like a few minutes. It wasn't, her stardom had not even peaked, and not that it ever has, but it's never been like huge movie star. She was on an episode of a show. It was cool, but not necessarily like all that, and certainly not deserving of making others feel less. And that definitely became kind of what she was known for. It's not like she's the most important person in the world, and yet she acts like she is, and everybody else needs to be at her feet kissing them, or she's holier than everybody, and why are people not just, falling over themselves to make sure that she's okay? And especially when they are falling over themselves to make sure she's okay, to see that she is honestly just dumped them like they don't matter. I realize that it might be stressful getting into a career, and I've worked with many celebrities in the past. I have many VIP friends. I have many circles that I've been in part of that I can drop names all day long. They've never once treated me anywhere close to how she's treated me, and they are far more important than she'll ever become. It was very disheartening for me because here's someone that I grew up with that I actually thought was a friend. And she pretty much started to ignore me after that. And unless we were with family, like if it was a group of us together and it was her sisters and her mom, then I was okay. But her, to me, became very much, you're not important to me anymore. You can't help me anymore, so you no longer have value to me. And I can no longer take advantage of you, so you offer nothing. And you're, go play with your peasant friends and go away. Was very much, oh, you guys don't matter. I'm done with you. So I was sad to see that was the way she started treating what I considered friendships that could last a lifetime. That was, the foundation of what we were, becoming young girls and young women, and having the values that Scientology does teach us to honor and respect and have higher values than you don't matter. That was never, ever taught. I remember meeting her boyfriend at the time, who was he was such a sweet guy. And I think he was new to Scientology. I don't think he had ever, or he was his first time or second time into the church. And he was speaking with a mutual friend of mine. So I walked up to them, and introduced myself, and we were talking, and then Leah came up and she was like so rude to him. Like, what are you doing? You need to come with me right now, and you need to quit talking to them, and why are you flirting with that girl? that girl was me, who I grew up with. Her. And I looked at her, I was like, hi, Leah. And she's like, kind of huffed and puffed and walked away with him. And I was like, what did I just miss? All I said was hello. And to see that response come in when there was nothing happening, and I maybe was next to her boyfriend for a whole minute and a half, maybe. And he was like so pleased, like, to meet me. He was like, oh, wow, you've known Leah for a long time? I'm like, yeah, we grew up together, and I know her sisters, and I know her mom really well. And I think that's about as far as I got before it turned into, you're stealing my boyfriend and leave him alone. So I was like, well, then. And then he was, I saw them a few minutes later, and she was chewing him out, just nailing him to the ground. Like, how dare you? And I bring you to this place, and this is how you treat me. And I don't know what he had done, but he was apologizing. I'm sorry, it's not what you think. And I didn't stick around for much longer than that. So it's like she's trying to step on people so that she can be given something, and it's all false. It's all a deck of cards or house of cards. It's all this fake truth that she's sitting on that it doesn't mean anything. And I think, obviously she's money hungry. I think that the things that she's trying to use that is an interesting story, somehow, Scientology becomes the, ooh, what's that? And, you think by now that people would go, okay, we've been around long enough. And there's, we're growing faster than ever, and we have bigger organizations than we've ever had. So there's nothing quiet about what we're doing. There's nothing private or that you can't find out. And she's the last source I would go to and for anything, much less Scientology, and find out what is Scientology.